You're watching Taste the Victory.
Alongside Booster Set 8, we get the brand new Angewomon and Mastemon starter decks. These are both very strong, powerful decks that introduce new mechanics and archetypes to the game. So let's see how you can do a budget but still competitive upgrade of these decks for you to take over your locals. If you're looking to pick up singles today to get ready for this deck, consider using my TCG Player affiliate link in the description below to shop at TCG Player while supporting my channel. Thank you so much. Today, we're starting with the Mastemon starter deck. This deck is fantastic at board expansion and board control, and is a really good deck once you get the hang of it. Let's start with our egg. Nyaromon is included at 4 copies in the starter deck, and we will be keeping it there because it is an easy to meet requirement to draw one in this deck. With how many bodies, this deck can clearly play out through effects like Mastemon's DNA Digivolution or through Heart Slamming for their search effects. Our first rookie included in the starter deck is Ghostmon. Ghostmon is a rookie blocker. In a pinch, that can be really useful to stop lethal, and it synergizes fantastically with our Night Raid option to be able to play a rookie out for only 2. So not only do you get a cheaper rookie, you also get to potentially stop lethal if you hit this in security. Ghostmon is cool, but we don't need it exactly at 4, so we'll cut it down to 3 copies to make room for some valuable rookies we will add. Sukaimon is an on-play search to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. We will have more powerful search options added in later in this build, so we will take out Sukaimon to make room for them. Salamon, included at 4 in the starter deck, only has an inheritable effect, but is actually the same as this Gatomon we see. It has end of turn, you may DNA Digivolve even if you pass memory over to your opponent. That is a powerful effect, but since we already have it on Gatomon, we want to open up our rookie lineup for some more diverse utility. So we will cut that down to 2 as it is still a great powerful effect in case we don't see the Gatomon. And lastly, Lopmon is just a vanilla rookie, so we will cut that down to 0 to make room for more useful rookies. In their place, we will start by adding in some Gazimon. 3 Gazimon are a good answer to a lot of decks in the BT8 meta, like Angewomon, who will be running Hammer Sparks and Blue Memory Boost. It stops your opponent from gaining memory except through Tamer effects. 3 is a good number as you don't want to overload. And to round out our rookie lineup, we are going to add Candlemon at 4 copies. Candlemon lets you gain 1 memory when you play another purple Digimon, and with the ability to play them for free through Mastemon's DNA Digivolution effect, we can sometimes play out a Digimon and not pass turn thanks to that ability, or gain a huge advantage in memory and then have room to play an option to further your board state. Witchmon plays itself for free from security, and then on play it lets you grab 1 purple level 5 or lower Digimon card from your trash to your hand. While this is by no means a bad effect, and it may even give you lethal if you see it in your security, we need to make room for more impactful champions and offer better search. So we will be cutting that down to 0. And in its place, we will up the Gatomon to 4 copies. This is when you need 2 copies of the starter deck to get 4 Mastemon for Gatomon. Gatomon's search effect is incredibly powerful and very likely to hit because of the nature of this deck, and then it lets you Digivolve for a reduced cost of 1 into an Archangel or Fallen Angel, which make up the majority if not all of our top end. So that is incredible value we want to make space for, and then its inheritable is the same as Salamon, which is important to keep momentum up with your opponent. For the other 2 champion slots left behind by Witchmon, we will replace it with 1 copy of BlackGatomon. BlackGatomon has Rush, so when played off of Mastemon's effect, it could give you lethal and close out the game, and if not, it has the Retaliation inheritable, which discourages your opponent from swinging back at you once you've swung at them. And then we will toss in a Reinforced Memory Boost. This card is an incredible momentum tool, not only letting you draw 1, but also recover 1, and with other cards we will add later in this upgrade, it will synergize fantastically with the rest of your deck. Next, we move up to our ultimate lineup. Mastemon is included at 2 copies, but it simply does on play delete one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon. When you need to climb to a level 5, this simply does not do enough for how long it takes to get to 1, even if you cheat it out with Mastemon's effect, so we will cut this down to 0 and replace it with 2 copies of NeoDevimon. NeoDevimon gains you 3 memory when your opponent plays a Tamer, and it even has the inheritable to do something similar on your opponent's turn. Blue and yellow hybrids are still going to be running around at the beginning of this format, so this punishes them, especially since you can get it out faster and cheaper with Mastemon's DNA Digivolving effect now, as opposed to climbing all the way up to it. Plus, many decks this format are going to be relying on Tamers like Angewomon with their Ken Davis to restand for lethal, so this is a great tool to discourage that. The other ultimates, also known as level 5s, included in this starter deck are LadyDevimon and Angewomon at 4 copies, and we will keep those 4 because they offer so much utility for this deck. LadyDevimon lets you search your deck, and then its inheritable gives all of your yellow Digimon Retaliation, which makes all of your boards such a pain to swing back at between this and BlackGatomon. Then Angewomon is amazing synergy and such a powerful card with the rest of your starter deck. It has on play, one of your opponent's Digimon gains security attack -2. So if you get this off of Mastemon's effect, not only are you deleting something off of Mastemon's effect, you are also now giving something else security attack -2, really controlling your opponent's board. And its inheritable effect that gives you security attack +1 puts so much pressure and lets you be a lot more aggressive towards your opponent's security. That will round up our ultimate lineup, and we're going to turn on stats so you can get an idea of how many cards we are running at each level. Let's start with Mastemon for our level 6s. Mastemon is incredible and the backbone of this deck. We absolutely need 4 copies of it. It lets you play a yellow or purple Digimon card from your trash on top of your security stack, and then if you DNA'd, you get to play something level 5 or lower out for free from your security stack. And then when you play a Digimon using an effect, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon whose level is equal or less to that Digimon you just played. So this is non-negotiable, we need 4 copies of it. Junomon, however, is just a retaliation, and when digivolving, trash the top 3 cards of your deck, and then return 1 Digimon from your trash to your hand. This simply does not do enough for a level 6 Digimon, so we will cut it down to 0. In its place, we will run Ophanimon Falldown mode. This is a great backup mega to Mastemon because it relies on its purple and yellow sources, which this deck runs many of, and then lets you delete one of your opponent's Digimon or recover +1, which offers great synergy with the rest of the cards we are about to add in. And then it also has an on deletion effect to keep momentum even if this card is removed. This is a super rare, but looking at previous decks, we typically don't see them break the $3 threshold too often, and it is only 2 copies, so fingers crossed this deck doesn't get too crazy and this card doesn't go up too high, as it shouldn't be more than $1 to $2, ideally. We then are going to move on to our option lineup. Night Raid is a fantastic option to synergize with the rest of our rookie package. It could get us a blocker to stop us from losing a game, or it could bring out a 2-cost Gazimon to shut down your opponent's options like Memory Boost or Hammer Spark. We will cut down to 2 to not overload on it, however. Next up, we have Darkness Wave, which is an interesting search effect by trashing the top 3 cards of your deck, and then if you have a yellow Digimon in play, return 1 yellow or purple Digimon card from your trash to your hand. Since it does need a requirement that isn't too hard to meet, it is still a little bit of a nuisance where we could just get a better search like Purple Memory Boost. Purple Memory Boost lets you reveal the top 4, which lets you dig deeper. It adds a purple Digimon card, but a lot of our deck is half purple, so with very low odds of whiffing, and then you get to delay it to gain 2 memory, which is really important to help you make big turn pushes for game. So we will be cutting out our Darkness Wave entirely and replacing it with that 3 of Purple Memory Boost and 1 Reinforced Memory Boost. We will keep the Chaos Degradation in the starter deck because this is an amazing removal which this deck struggles to hit level 6 or higher. Mastemon will only get you level 5 or lower removal, which is good in the early game, but when your opponent has set up their boss monster, you need something a little bit more aggressive like Chaos Degradation. Very few effects will be able to bypass this either since it is non-destruction removal. So we will keep those 2. However, being 8 costs, you just want to leave it at 2 since that is quite expensive and you don't want to see it too early. Our final option will be 2 of Flame Hellscythe. This option is incredible because it lets you give one of your opponent's Digimon -6000 DP, which will delete a lot of their important Digimon based around DNA Digivolution, like the champions that play themselves for a reduced cost. And then you get to play a Digimon with 6000 DP or less, which is the majority of our level 5 lineup. So this lets you immediately set up for another Mastemon play if you have already done it, while also controlling your opponent's board. It's an incredibly powerful option, and if you have the space and budget to run more of it, absolutely do so, as it's only a rare. And lastly, for the last 3 cards of our list, we will be running the new BT8 Kari as our memory tamer. It guarantees you 3 memory at the start of your turn, which is important for any deck to function, and then also, when a card is added to your security stack, you may suspend this tamer to gain 1 memory. We see now all the cards in our deck that synergize with that gain 1 memory effect. And that will be your upgraded Mastemon starter deck, while still staying within budget. This is a really powerful deck that is a ton of fun once you get the hang of playing it, since it does work a bit differently, being able to hardcast high cost Digimon like Gatomon than your typical Digimon build. However, once you do get the hang of it, it is very satisfying. I hope this video was useful to you. Let me know any other budget tech options you want to run in this deck in the comments below. Any tips are appreciated, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And until then, remember to stay hungry until you get a taste of victory.